Hello darlings, I am Cassandra. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for coming. For those of you who are new to my channel, child, let me introduce you to the Jungle Beauty Goddesses, the life-size fabric dolls you see sitting behind me. Darling, I created these dolls myself, and as I was sewing them, they would not stop talking to me. And this led to my Jungle Beauty Goddess book series, which led to my Jungle Beauty Goddess Oracle deck that I am going to use today to give you 7 secrets, yes, 7 secrets to unleash your unique creativity. Is that right? Yes. I'm going to go ahead and get started with this reading. Thank you so much for watching. The first card I have for you is from Jungle Beauty Goddess Kalahari. And Jungle Beauty Goddess Kalahari's message to you is, believe in love. The next card I have for you is from Jungle Beauty Goddess Sahara. And Jungle Beauty Goddess Sahara's message to you is, gather information with an open mind. The next card I have for you is from Jungle Beauty Goddess Sahara. You're pulling in strong throat chakra energy. And her message is, ask more questions. So these are the 3 cards that I'm going to use to give you my collective intuition on the 7 secrets to you unleashing your unique creativity. The first secret, darling, to unleashing your creativity is to listen. To listen, you learn more by listening than as opposed to talking. I guess we've all heard that before. But when you listen, you actually get ideas. Like if you listen to people tell their stories, listen to, what bothers people, what concerns people, what's laying on their hearts. When you listen, you'll be surprised at the ideas you would get that can literally change your life. Now, what comes to mind, I have this video that I show in one of my classes. And it's called How Difficult Can This Be by Richard Lavoie. And he teaches children with exceptionalities. And he was saying that he had graded someone's paper, and the student had like some type of learning disability, and the student was very upset because he had all these red marks on the paper. And Mr. Lavoie said to him, hey, I understand how you feel. And the student said, you have no idea how I feel. So you can say that you have good intentions, but you can't say that you understand how I feel. And this in turn inspired Mr. Lavoie to create a video that really changes how we view people who have learning disabilities, because he created a scenario where people would emulate. They did not on purpose, people with exceptionalities. He created the scenario so that they would have an opportunity to see what it would be like to have a learning disability. So, and this is because he was listening. So guys, one of the things to do, most important things you can do, is to really listen to what people are saying, because this is going to be the gas or the juice, or you understand what I'm saying, the energy behind the raw data that you will collect in order to be creative. Another thing that comes to my mind is, I know that there's like this belief that in general that men cheat more than women, but I would teach psychology and I would listen to my students tell their stories, right? And so after years of hearing stories, I realized I think men and women cheat equally. It's just that women justify their behavior. So for example, I listened to girls who would say, if once they knew that they were no longer going to be in a relationship, they may start dating someone before the relationship ends, but in their mind, it isn't cheating. So men, do you know what I'm saying? Women classify and label things differently, and they tend to leave the relationship sooner, and as opposed to how men just wait until they're busted. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but the more I listen to people, the more ideas I receive, and the more I start to see the world differently. So remember, the very first secret to unleashing your creativity is to listen, but to listen without judgment, to listen, in between the cracks, listen to what's not being said, let go of preconceived ideas about what you think, how things are supposed to be or how it really is. And once you start really listening and paying attention to people, oh my God, you will have more ideas than you will have time to capture. Now, the second secret to unleashing your creativity, which is kind of ties into the first one about listening, really listening, is to pay attention to your surroundings. Your surroundings, this is your gold mine, darling. Be observant of, like the buildings, the sidewalk, like why is it the way that it is? You know what I'm saying? Like even when people were making movies about the Stepford Wives, that was somebody who was very observant, and they were making jokes about getting a new lawnmower, or I don't know if you've seen those movies before. This person was observant. They were observant of their neighborhood. You also, when you're being observant of your neighborhood or your surroundings, I just want you to remember that truth is the raw, juicy secret sauce to creativity. I'm telling you, raw, unpolished, you hear me? Raw, unpolished, undiluted truth is the real secret to creativity that a lot of people either don't know or haven't made peace with. So what I mean by this, child, is if you listen to country music and they're talking about, drinking in bars, or Jolene's, song, Please Don't Take My Man. Like she's talking about this woman who is like super gorgeous, who has auburn hair and I think green eyes, and she's like, of course you can take him, child. You're gorgeous, but I'm begging of you, please don't take my man. If you're listening to Tupac's Dear Brenda's Got a Baby or Dear Mama, right? I mean, child, when people tell the truth, they move the world. But the scary thing about truth is that you're so vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? Like you're telling a story that is coming all the way from your soul about maybe when your dad left your mom or something that happened to you as a kid. You know what I'm saying? But those are the stories that create the greatest art that the world has ever seen. So if you aren't connected to your truth, which is why we had those two cards from Sahara, and the two cards from Sahara, who represents our throat chakra, our ability to communicate and express ourselves artistically, but it's also about truth. This is our truth, child. And a lot of times people, you tell the truth, you get in trouble. Or maybe the truth is too difficult to handle, so we cover it up. But if you cover up the truth, you cover up your creativity. I promise you. So when people say things like, I'm not creative, or, I don't have any ideas, it's because you have not observed your surroundings, the buildings, the people who communicate. Me and Mrs. Jones, what was the name of the artist who wrote that song? It's like, oh my God, I could think of 1,000 songs that we all kind of like listen to, and we feel like we're there because somebody actually told the truth. Hip hop is all about rags to riches stories. You know what I'm saying? That's why hip hop took off. Hip hop, everybody said that the hip hop music would not last long, but the reason it is still here is because it's storytelling that is telling the truth, right? And when you tell the truth, you touch souls. The third thing, darling, that you must do to unleash your creativity is gather information with an open mind. Now, what I mean by an open mind is You probably have so many preconceived ideas about what's bad, what's good, how things are supposed to be. But you know what? All of those preconceived ideas are actually obstacles or blocks to your creativity. So, for example, I grew up thinking that skulls were negative or bad or represented death. But after way late in my life, I don't even know how I came across this information. I started reading about skulls as being keepers of light and information that we try to keep from the masses, and this is why we try to put things into concepts. We hide them from the masses because a lot of time when people have knowledge or wisdom, they don't know what to do with it. So you place it in such a way to keep the average person away from it. But the thing is this, I grew up thinking it was negative or bad. I couldn't imagine a person who would have it. And now it's like I have, such a beautiful collection of skulls and gemstones and their meanings. This is strawberry quartz, by the way. And because my mind has been open, and my mind has been open to so many things, I have learned so many mind-blowing things that has changed the very structure of my personality and my brain. I was just, as you guys know, I'm still working on completing the series on how to make a pig. So this is a prosperity pig, which I learned about pigs so many things that really surprised me. Like, pigs are very intelligent. They're more intelligent than dogs, by the way. They're easier to train than dogs. I know some of you might know this, but the thing is, child, I'm 2 seconds from being a vegetarian, okay, is that when they nurse their babies, they sing to their babies. Did you know that? Child, this made me not want bacon. Okay, it's making me feel like one day I feel a vegetarian, vegan, whatever. It's coming on. But basically, they're really smart. They said they have 20 distinct sounds that they use to communicate with each other, and they are very clean animals. So here we heard that they were lazy, dumb. Like somebody call you a pig and you're offended, child. But you know what I'm saying is. It's so important to let go of preconceived ideas. Like, don't think something is good because somebody told you it was good, or think something was bad because someone told you it was bad. In order to be a very creative and artistic person, your mind must be open to channel in truth that may surprise you. Do you understand what I'm saying? So the fourth thing that you must do in order to unleash your creativity is you must, oh my God, create new realities, new beings, new stories, new items, creating things that do not exist. You can use the things that you already have to create things that does not already exist in the world. One of my favorite kid stories that I read to my granddaughter all the time is Horton Hears a Who by Dr. Seuss. Now, can you imagine there's this little tiny speck of dust and there's this whole town inside of this dust? Like, who could think of that? If you were to take the time right now and create anything that doesn't already exist, what would it be? Like, practice that. Practice, like the Jungle Beauty goddesses, they didn't exist. They came into existence through my imagination. So on my channel, I'm going to challenge you to be creative. I'm going to challenge you to create like the Muppets. Like, I'm not saying create them because Hanson has already created the Muppets. But do you understand what I'm saying? Get in the habit of using your imagination to create alternate realities, different types of beings, different type of stories. Like when you're making dinner, like talk about the string beans and maybe how they didn't want to be eaten and how, I don't know. I'm just thinking really silly, but always use your imagination to add a storyline to or create beings into existence and tell the story from their planet or where they're from or their side of the story. Number 5, darling, on what you need to do in order to unleash your creativity is, oh my God, believing in love. Oh. Let me tell you why believing in love is so important, because we're talking about your heart chakra with Kalahari here, and this is where our passion. When people say follow your heart, child, do what you love, child, listen, the secret to unleashing your creativity first and foremost is really to figure out what it is you love. What do you love to do? Do you love making cookies? Do you love watching cartoons? Do you love watching TV shows and critiquing them? There are so many people now who are millionaires because they watch movies and then they critique those movies. You know what I'm saying? They like making popcorn, and they came up with their own line of popcorn of different flavors. They like making jewelry. Oh my God, this list could go on forever and ever. But the thing is this is the secret. This is the thing that's frustrating, is that typically the thing that we love to do, if it is not in alignment with what society deems to be important, such as being a lawyer or being a doctor or being a teacher or some job that society approve of, you will find that dream pushed down further and further and further until it's buried so deep into your soul that you don't even know what it is or where it is. Because whenever you used to say, when you were little and cute, child, you're still cute right now, I'm just saying, but when you were little, I'm just going to say that, and people would say, what do you want to be? And you would say, I want to be a ballerina, right? And they would say, that's so good, you can be anything you want to be. But as you get older and you say, I want to be a ballerina, people start saying, do you know how competitive it is? You're not even in shape. You're never going to make it into a troupe. You're never going to be a ballerina. You know what I'm saying? This is the thing that I've been observing about life recently. I've been watching a lot of Disney and cartoons with my granddaughter. So it's a whole different perspective as to when I watch those things with my own children. Is that, when you're a kid, everybody tell you magic is real. Like, my granddaughter says, alakazam, and it's not abracadabra, but she says, alakazam, turn into a frog. all of her Disney shows, all of her cartoons, it tells her that magic is real. It tells her that she can use her imagination and be whatever she wants. But when you get older, child, everybody tell you magic isn't real. Don't you think that's interesting? Don't you think it's interesting that the first 7 to, I would say maybe around 7 to 10 years of age, they tell you magic is real, and then as you get older, they tell you there's no such thing as magic. Child, that's a whole nother video that we'll talk about. But why would you even bother to tell someone that it's real and then tell them later that it isn't real? You know what I'm saying? So the thing about being a creative person, I really feel like you still have to believe in magic, because magic is nothing but creativity, manifesting the desires of one's heart. So, but this is the thing about believing in love, I want to say, is that when you love something, only love, listen to me. It's like I'm talking to my kids. Listen to me, darling. Love is the only energy that will allow you to push through, endure criticism and people not liking your ideas and people not liking your work and people not liking your food and everybody telling you that you can't do it or you're not good enough. If you don't love it, if you don't absolutely love it, you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it through med school. Trust me. If you're going to med school because you're just looking forward to a white jacket with your name on it and, people say, oh my God, you're a doctor. When you have to study for those exams, when it's really, really tough, you're not going to be able to pull through unless you love it. So love, believing in love means believing in the things that you love. Because that love for whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish, that is going to pull you through your difficult times, through rejection. You know, when people try to be a model and they go from agency to agency to agency and they're turned down. But the thing that keeps them going and inspired is the fact that they love it. Do you know what I'm saying? So make sure, if whatever artistic expression that you choose to pursue, make sure that you love it, because love is going to ensure that you are open to the right opportunities, that you are able to manifest your dream, that you are able to make money. Sometimes we don't make money from doing the things that we love, because I have found, this is a whole nother video, but let me tell you this. I have found that sometimes money does not mesh with doing what we love, because when you love doing something, there is no amount of money that someone can pay you to not take your time, to not give the doll the eye colors that you wanted. I mean, I just want to say this, like, I love making dolls, which is why I don't like making dolls for other people. Isn't this deep? I don't like making dolls for people, because when I create that doll, that creation is between me and God, between me and the universe, me and that doll child. And however she wants to exist, however she wants to look, whatever story she wants to tell, I am the channel. I allow myself to be open to her creative energy and to express it into being. You know what I'm saying? And when people pay you, I feel like they treat you like Burger King. It's like, have it your way, you know, hold the pickles, hold the lettuce, you know, I want it this way and that way. But, you know, I'm not into that, because that's how precious that is to me. So I will give you a doll that I've created, who has come into existence, that I have, you know, and allowed myself to be imbued with her love and her expression. But I won't make a doll for you, because the love and the respect for that energy is so precious to me. So, is that deep? I know, right? So if you believe in what you're doing, there are people who make dolls and they love when you say, hey, I want this and that, and they want to do it, but every artist is different. So just make sure that you're being true to how you as an individual express love. And I would say this, when you first start any endeavor, try to do it for yourself first, so you can find your rhythm, find your magic, find your unique way of expressing your drawings or your paintings or your baking or your jewelry making. You know what I'm saying? Do it for you first before you open that door to other people. And the sixth secret to unleashing your unique creativity is, I think I've said this before. One is that you have to believe that you're a creative type. And I want you to know that you are a creative type. But the thing is this, and I think I said it before, but it's definitely worth saying again. To be truly creative, one must be in alignment with his or her truth. If you are like ashamed of how you were brought up, if you are ashamed of maybe some family secret, or you're ashamed of your skin color, your body size, if you are not in tune or in touch with your truth about yourself, about your life, about your family, about your dreams, your goals, your views, your values, it's going to be very difficult to be creative. I'm telling you, I'm going to stand by that. Art demands truth. Artistic expression demands truth. And we all know the truth when we hear it and see it. So that's the other thing. It's like, you know, I think I said it before, you have to take off your mask. You have to take off your psychological mask, your emotional mask. True art wants you naked, child. It wants you vulnerable and honest, just like a, it wants you, it wants your soul. It wants an honesty that when people hear, see, or taste it, they're just like, oh my God. Even if they hate it, but it should have some type of authentic feel to it, that you were giving us a piece of your soul. You know what I'm saying? Like, even when I don't like every type of music, but I don't need to, but I can hear it and say, wow, that's, it's not my thing, but I can see why other people like it. Have you ever tasted something before and you honestly don't like it, but you can say it's not particularly my type of thing, but I can see why somebody else would be interested, because somebody just somebody just gave their heart to it. They put a lot of passion, a lot of love into it. So to be a truly creative person, darling, you must be in alignment with your unmasked truth, and you must be willing to share that truth. And the last thing I want to say, which is, it kind of all ties together, but there is wisdom in your pain you've gone through. That story is a part of, I don't know how, I'm trying to think of, like, when you look at a tree, you know how sometimes you look at a tree and you look at the markings or the blemishes or the rings or whatever, and it's always like those are the things that make it beautiful. Like, there's so much wisdom in the things you've gone through in your life, the people who've hurt you. I mean, the best songs were written because somebody's heart was broken. You know what I'm saying? The best dishes were created because somebody was trying to make something, they made a mistake, and they turned it into something else. So I want you to look through your life and find one incident that happened, and then, write a story about it. So my Jungle Beauty Goddess book series is really a story about my relationship with God. I know people would never realize this. I'm being so open right now, but so basically, for those of you who know, like, I've had a really difficult upbringing, okay, and my story is in alignment with asking, why. So every artist who is telling the truth is probably going to have more creativity than they can manifest in one lifetime. Do you understand what I'm saying? So once you get honest with yourself about your life, and you start asking questions, and you listen, and you look at your surroundings, you're going to have so many ideas, you're not going to know what to do with yourself. And the last thing, darling, the secret to unleashing your creativity is that you must have silence in your life. You must have time in your life where, you turn off the TV, no radio, no podcast, no YouTube. You can't listen to anything. And I'm just going to be honest with you, because you can't, in order to be able to create, to be a really creative person, you have to hear the silent voice inside of you. You have to hear the whisper inside of your being, inside of your soul. And I always used to tell my kids, you don't even know what you think if you have TV on all day, if you're sleeping with the TV on, if you're sleeping with the radio on, if you know what I'm saying? Do you know people like that? Like, you have this wisdom and this of your higher self, of your muses, but you can't hear them if you're always surrounded by noise. So not only are you listening to your external environment, to what people are saying, and between the lines of what people are saying, you also should have at least, I would say, 30 minutes a day where you're just in the house, nothing on, because you'll be surprised at all of the unique ideas that start to bubble up. They were always there. It's just that you couldn't hear them because you were listening to everybody else's ideas. So creativity really requires you to have silence, at least 30 minutes a day. And just while you're washing dishes, or while you are doing an assignment, or just looking out the window at the birds, but it doesn't have to, just go out for a walk, child. And you don't have to just sit and just go, but just have a time where things are quiet, and and I promise you, some of the most amazing ideas you ever imagined will surface to your being. I really hope this reading helps someone. Thank you so much for watching, darling, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.